Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome back to Minor League Esports presented by APM Music. I am your host today, Captain Atsoka, back again to bring you some more high play Rocket League. And today we have the Masters Leagues with the Dodgers and the Shadow. And before we get into that, I gotta say I'm not alone in the booth today. I am joined by my co-caster. Go ahead and introduce yourself and give us some more information about what we're about to get into.
What is up, people? Luke here, obviously, says by the name card below me, but we have a very intriguing matchup between a team that's still looking for their first win of the season and a team that's kind of in the middle of the pack. They're in the middle of the pack looking to make a bigger statement on the standings, especially in their division. While going into the stats, you know, the Dodgers still haven't won a series yet. They're 0-5 right now in series count, 4-21 in game counts. Not a great start for them. And on the other side, the Shadows, right now in second in their division with a 13-12 game records, trying to make a big impact this week so they can try and catch the Pandas, who are leading that Tropic division at this point.
Yeah, well, and again, if I know anything about the MLE, is that every win counts. So even if a team doesn't win the series today, they can still try and get as many wins as possible. We always play to 5. That much I know, and I think we are just about ready. All the teams are in, and we are ready to go. Let's get it underway.
And I'm actually really excited because this is like a lot of classic players. These players have been here for a long time. Urinate and Inanimate J and Minimaki, these guys have all been around since really the beginning of MLE. And, you know, it's going to be very interesting to how they do is they start off with a great kickoff goal for the Shadow, and they're going to start off early.
Yeah, and I'm loving this already just because yesterday I've seen so many kickoff goals, and within the first 3 seconds already, it looks like the Shadow is just going to be popping off offensively, putting 1 goal on the board and already getting a good boost of momentum to start it off. And now Minimaki is going to hit this one down the Morgue as Morgue is going to go up and high with the air dribble with some finesse, and that's going to put them up too.
Morgue has always been known as this mechanical genius, always great with his aerial control, and he shows it there, just spinning and really kind of showing off for the cameras as he gets right past the last defender and gives them an early 2-goal lead, not even 10 seconds in.
Yep, and just off to a fantastic start. Now it's really on for the Dodgers to try and swing some momentum back their way. A good attempt so far, but it's not going to get past Nate, as this one's going to go to the side and a flick over the defender there. Out into the corner it goes. Nate trying to get past one more, and he does. Off the sidebar, that's going to be no good.
And I mean, the Dodgers, they just have not had a great start. You know, they're really not had a great start of their season. They're hoping, you know, this is a time to turn around. You're on the mainstream. You got all the lights and cameras on you. This is where you need to show that you're here to play. And so far, it just hasn't been here. They've been stuck in their own half, and they haven't really had any good opportunities yet.
Right now, I'm just loving what I'm seeing from the Shadow. Just the amount of control they have and the precision with their touches, being able to be an absolute devastating force on offense, almost choking the life out of the Dodgers as they try and scramble to get an offensive presence. And right now, just another follow-up from the Shadow and extending their lead to 3 now.
And Morgan's just been all over this defense. 3 goals, barely under a minute now, under his name. And at this point, you're just wondering, can the Dodgers get anything in response? 5 shots to 1 in favor of the Shadow. And now it's going to come down to the Dodgers. See if they can get anything going on the offensive end.
If there's anything we know about Rocket League is that it's not too late, it's never too late. That's still plenty of time on the clock, 3 minutes and 45. Still plenty of time for the Dodgers to get their momentum back in their favor and make something happen here. It's Inanimate J is going to take this one out into the corner in a pinch there with no boost to follow up. It's going to be Nate who's going to send this one back the other way for Minimaki, going off the back wall now. Going to reset himself, but a nice touch there. Back into the middle it goes, and it's going to be an easy clear for Inanimate J.
And, I mean, it just constantly, time and time again, the Dodgers have not been on the same page. They're getting each other's way. And a lot of panic is now just coming off of the back wall, and especially off the corners. And if Urinate was a little bit closer to punish, they would have gone to goal. And as I say that, the Dodgers finally get a goal back off a great passing play.
Now, this is a lesson we can learn because from Minimaki taking that control, you want to make sure that you get past the last defender, and even if you don't know if your teammate's there, make sure you're center that ball, okay? You got to center that ball. A beautiful play by Minimaki, finding Inanimate J out there in the middle, and now they are finally on the board with 3 minutes to go. Still down by 2, but not out of the game yet.
And I think it's going to come down to now, how we'll really see this Dodgers team work as a unit. They've played together for a long time, so you know the chemistry is there. It's just, are they going to allow the Shadow to continue this offensive presence that we've seen from for most of this game?
Yep, only time will tell. And speaking of time, we're just about at the half now. Still seeing a lot of control from the Shadow as they maintain the possession for the most of it. But Minamaki absolutely demolished Urinate there. Inanimate J with a no good air dribble as this one's going to go to the corner again for Morg. Back out to the center for Urinate and a follow-up from Inanimate J. No boost left in the tank. It's Minamaki who's going to get the 50-50 and bring it down within one.
And that's great pace for Minamaki. You can tell he doesn't get the best read on the bounce, but he realizes that it's time, so he's kind of patient. I was like, oh, I'm not going to rush my touch. I'm going to wait for it to fall down and get a touch that I know I'm going to get with enough power to get past. And it ends up working because Morg not ready for that downward bounce. And again, we see the Dodgers getting closer to that comeback.
Yeah, I just like being able to see the bully plays there. Like, going in with it, didn't exactly have the perfect read on the ball, but really didn't need one. So close to the net, all you have to do is be there and just force it right on in. Good play coming from the Dodgers, and they're going to try and keep it going, but Morg is able to clear this one out into the side now, and going to leave this one hanging. That's a low 5 there from Inanimate J. Going off the backboard again, and a 50-50 off of Euro Nate, and it's going to be a follow-up once again by the Dodgers, but no good as Shadow is able to play some spectacular defense here, holding the line. Urinate picks up yet another save.
But now we're starting to see a little bit of a role reversal. Dodgers getting the pressure they want, and finally a demo by Morg is going to give them some space to really turn the ball in their favor. It's a great opportunity by Inanimate J off target, but now we see that the Dodgers are starting to get a little pressure of their own cooking.
Yep, and now we're kind of clustering in the corner now. All the players there in the corner as they finally get a little breathing room. Urinate is going to send this one back into Dodgers territory, and a nice 50 there out into the corner goes Minamaki with a missed touch and an open net opportunity. They're going to take that one to the bank. It's 4-2.
And this all starts with Urinate's 50. He's low on boost, but instead of really panicking for boost, he challenges Inanimate J at the midfield, who has full boost, and makes this super awkward for the Dodgers, where they don't really know where they're doing positionally, and it's a great punish from Morg to punish the miscommunication and misplay from the Dodgers.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like, we're seeing Morg pop off 4 goals, and now with a little Finnick flip reset there, but it's not going to lead much to nothing. But I also got to say, Urinate is playing a spectacular support role, but not like that. What a beautiful bump play here from Minamaki.
He was part of the support play for Minamaki here, making himself look a little bit better. That's a great aerial read. Gets off the ball cam, making sure that last defender isn't there. Want to take out the defense, that's one way to do it, and back down to 1 lead for this Dodgers team.
Yeah, I gotta say the Dodgers are looking really good right now. I like the pass plays they're getting, and Morg trying to still get those solo plays. So I'm thinking maybe Shadow is gonna have to incorporate more of those pass plays that we're seeing the Dodgers pull off, because right now Urinate does have 1 assist on the board, but no scores of his own. He's gonna have to step up if it's gonna be Shadow to take this one away. Follow up now from Inanimate J, and a nice 50 coming off of Morg as Morg with a nice pass, but Urinate caught circling back, trying to get that defensive rotation going. Inanimate J now hits the ball right back into Euro Nate, and a nice pass towards the middle, but again, seems like nobody can really find themselves.
Yeah, it's starting to come down. You know, when you get that last-minute situation, a lot of teams either shine in the moment or they shun away from it, and the Dodgers right there show that they're shunning away. They're not able to get off of the pressure, and they're panicking on the defensive ends. We see right there from Minamaki.
Yeah, that could be the nail in the proverbial coffin here. 15 seconds left to go. It's still possible, just not too probable. 15 seconds is a good amount of time. You can definitely score 2 goals within that allotted time. But it's really not the question of whether or not you can score it. It's the question of whether or not you're going to be able to get past Shadow's defense. And now with just 5 seconds to go on the clock, Urinate taking control, and we're just going to walk this clock right on out. As it hits 1 second down to 0, Shadow is going to take game number 1.
And I mean, this is a really good job by Shadow. You know, when a team gets this kind of comeback going, a lot of teams are really not able to really get something going. And I kind of really have loved how the Shadow were really just taking roles for each player. You know, Urinate being that playmaker, defender, kind of following up Morg's creative plays. And in the end, you know, we're happy that the Shadow are finally able to get something going now. And now it's going to come down to whether the Dodgers are able to really finish up their plays on the offensive side of the field.
Yeah, the Dodgers, it's not even that the Dodgers played poorly. Like, they did really well. You have two goals, and honestly, Minamaki shooting at 100% with 2 goals and 2 shots and an assist on the board. And not only that, but Inanimate J also had an assist and a goal as well. So they weren't necessarily playing bad. They were just getting outshot, and Urinate was just absolutely popping off. Now, no, I'm sorry. It was Morg that was popping off. Urinate was the one that was in the more support role, recovering those 2 saves, getting a pass on the board. But if Urinate was to start hitting the backboards as well and start getting goals, then the Shadow team might just be unstoppable in this game.
And I think it's really going to come down to exactly what you said. What are they going to do to kind of outshine Morg in this situation? Because Morg, you know, he's just having fun. You know, he's making a mess out of this, you know, Dodgers defense. And we're going to have to see how the Dodgers will respond. Get some plays of their own cooking, like that Minamaki air bump he got going early at the end of that last game. Those are the plays you need to really quiet those offensive plays for Morg.
Yep, now it's going to be Inanimate J trying to get things started early with a nice pass off the backboard, but that's going to be easy pickings for Morg as he's going to send this one back into Dodgers territory. But Minamaki is able to take control now back towards the other half. Urinate makes it back just in time and pays for it with his life.
And that's a great save from Urinate. I mean, it's just proving he has been all over what the Dodgers have been doing on offense. And the only way, really, that we've seen the Dodgers be able to take him out is by literally taking him out of net with bumps. And it's just showing his presence is defeating the Dodgers in a 1v2 at this point.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of the demos and the bump plays, but you got to make sure you're hitting the right target. And speaking of, Urinate certainly does, and is going to get the first goal of this game number 2.
And, you know, everyone's saying it, you know, in the chat, going around, you know, it's like, Morg, you know, he had all that offensive presence. Everyone's like, well, let's see Urinate get something going on the offensive end, and finally gets one there, punishes the mistake from Minamaki, and they get a huge opening goal at the start of this game.
Yep, barely a minute gone now, 1-0 in favor of the Shadow. Now Inanimate J with a nice follow-up touch, but no follow-up there in the middle, and his teammate's going to be absent from that one. Morg now going off the backboard, gets a nice bang, a little bit of strong touch there coming off the top of the ceiling, but Urinate is going to fall back on defense and pick this one back up into the corner. Inanimate J now is going to try, but this one's going to get stuck out there on the side wall. Morg creeping up just maybe a little bit too much there. Inanimate J with another 50 win for Morg. Morg with the shot opportunity with a demo on top. It's 2-0.
And that's a great look by Morg. Morg, in this situation, he looks at where the defender is. Instead of rushing his touch, he realizes that Inanimate J's rushing him. And when you're kind of having that presence behind the ball where the attacker or the player who's attacking the ball can't get a good touch, you can play off him, and he does it beautifully. Pulls out the last defender in J and has a wide open net to punish it. Now again, Shadow starting off strong at the beginning.
Yeah, Morg now still looking dangerous on the back wall there, but it's going to be Minamaki taking control now as this one goes all the way back into Shadowland and is going to go off the backboard from Morg. Inanimate J with a missed touch now. It's up to Minamaki in the backfield to take control as this one gets boomed off the side wall, and Minamaki flips bad, man. That's going to be a missed backflip, and this one is going to stay in Dodgers territory. A center touch, but Inanimate J makes it back in time.
I mean, that would have been even worse if you're the Dodgers. Putting yourself down in another 3-0 situation. And again, look, they're getting it out, but they have just not been able to put shots home. Like, the Shadow right now are losing this shot battle 7-3, yet they're still winning 2-0. It's just they're making more use of their shots and not just throwing the ball away, where the Dodgers have just given the ball away to the defense.
One thing I gotta address right now, I don't know if anybody else caught that, but Minamaki went for the old flippery Phillip reset, and I wasn't sure if that was entirely necessary. Just kind of gave the possession away, just like you were saying just now, and that, you know, that you just can't really afford to do that, especially when you're down 2-0 and you're approaching the 2-minute mark.
And I think it's really going to punch here. They almost get scored on again. It might be it here, and they will get another one. Urinate with a great finish from Morg. And it comes down to, you know, they're just not thinking about their touches. They're more just hitting to hit, not really planning on where the defense will be, because Minamaki just gives it away to the defense.
Right, yeah, I mean, the talent is definitely there. By all means, you can see that they have the talent, they have the mechanics to keep up with Shadow. But right now, it's just, honestly, and, you know, just to be completely blunt, it's just poor decision-making. They need to make better choices, kind of like how Urinate just did. Saw a wide open net opportunity and didn't hesitate to take it. That's going to be literally a wide open net. Nobody there. What happened?
I mean, you got to give it to Morg, you know, and Urinate. This is just the chemistry that these two have. They've played together for a long time, And, Morg sees that he's going for a 50 play, and as a result of it, he waits for the 50 against an Amit J, and it leaves a wide open net to punish. And now, 4-goal lead for him. We got to see how the Dodgers will try to respond here.
I mean, even if they can respond, I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, but the way they've been playing, I don't have a lot of hope out there. But it's going to be going right back into the middle now for Morg, who's going to go up high, looking for the double touch, doesn't quite get it. Urinate with the follow-up there as Inanimate J is going to take this one out into the corner. Urinate now looking to get a touch here as it falls right back down to Minamaki, going off the side wall again, trying to get the air dribble there, but finds only air as Morg takes this one in the opposite direction.
And it kind of feels like, we see Morg go for these aerial plays, and then the Dodgers are trying to do something of their own. The Dodgers they're not as mechanical, it feels like, as a player such as Morg, but they're trying to play at his level. It's like, you gotta play in the way that's gonna work for you, but if you're gonna keep playing by how the opponents want you to play or how they play, you're just taking away your best strengths. And again, we see it again, Inanimate J going for a rush he's not used to doing, trying to play faster, and as a result, he gets punished.
Yeah, I really don't know what to say about that one. Is Morg the new 50-50 god? Is that the new Fireburner? Because he's just been winning these battles over and over and over again, and now that one just led to a straight goal. And Morg with 2 goals and 2 assists. And again, that high goal participation is just proving ever more fruitful for Shadow as a 50-50 comes off of Inanimate J. Going back towards the side is Morg, who's going to try and get met by Minamaki, but that's going to be no good as Urinate gets the Finesse and flick right over there. I'm sorry, that's an Octane. Now that's not no Finesse. It's going to be 6-0 now for Shadow.
That's a great delayed flick. Ends up looking like he's not going to be able to get a high pop on it, and he ends up saving his slip just late enough where he can pop it in the air right over the last guy. And now it seems like Urinate take Morg's job. Now he has 4 goals to his name, where last time he had none. And it's just showing a little bit of role reversal between these players in the Shadow.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. It's just looking like Dodgers, I feel like the Dodgers played a lot better in the first game than they are in the second game. I'm not sure what happened. And it's not to take anything away from the Shadow. It's just that I really do feel as though the Dodgers have a lot more potential than what I'm seeing from out them right now.
I think it's going to really come into a big factor when we get into the later games of this series. Because, a lot of teams, when they have such good success, they get a little greedy and go for a lot of stuff you wouldn't really expect them to go for. And we're going to see how they'll come in the later games. But finally, the Dodgers get one back. Minamaki doing some solo work. But, 6-1, I don't think that's the time you really want it at this point.
I mean, you're right, but I'm not going to lie to you. If I'm playing in a tournament, I do not mind getting that small consolation goal, as small as it may be. You still got to get at least something going to build some type of momentum going into the next game. A 6-1 game is better than a 6-0 game. So the Dodgers, I still have faith in you. I want to see some more come from you. I know you have the talent. I know you have the potential. It's up to you now to bring it out when we go into game number 3. But right now, Shadow absolutely popping off. And now we're seeing Urinate come into the game. 4 goals for Urinate off of the 6 shots. What a beautiful shot percentage for him.
And I think, it comes back to what you said about the Dodgers. They have been such a strong team when they do their own thing. I felt like this game especially, when Morg was going for a lot of these aerial plays and all this stuff, we saw the Dodgers try to do it on themselves. When that's not their strong suit, they're better at going for passing plays. They're better at working as a unit, playing the long haul game, instead of going for stuff fancy. As a result, they're just forcing themselves to do something that they're not comfortable with instead of playing with their strong suits. And if they do that, I think they have a very good chance of coming back in the series.
Yep, well, if you're a Dodgers fan, you have to let them know now they need all the help they can get as we go into game number 3, and we are underway, and already the ball is in the Dodgers territory. Minamaki going off the back wall now, back into the corner it goes with a nice follow-up touch coming from Urinate. As this one goes out into the middle again, it's Inanimate J, who's going to pass this one right over to Morg. Morg going up, looking for Finesse, and can't get it. It's Inanimate J, who's going to put a stop to that one.
But again, pressure starting from the Shadow, and how are they going to deal with this? And how are they going to try and counter it? Because again, the Dodgers have always started off with the defensive end and always usually down a goal. So it comes down to now, will they be able to stop the incoming pressure or turn around? And that answer gets put for me as Urinate gets the first goal.
Now, for me, this is a question. Was this too much faith or not enough? As you see Minamaki going for it, and I think Inanimate J had all the up faith in the world for Minamaki to get the touch and get the save, but that missed touch just wasn't. It's really hard to predict that from your teammate when you're sitting in the net and you're thinking that your teammate is going to get the touch and get the clear, and then you have to make a split-second jump and it's just not enough. Morg now going off the back wall, looking for a pass as this one goes up and high, and now Minamaki is going to clear this one and go right back into the Shadow territory.
We're going to see, how will the Dodgers try and make something, especially on the counters. I think definitely the Shadow have been outshining at the midfield presence, especially as almost a great play there from the Shadow to get it across midfield. But I definitely think the Dodgers need to try and get a little bit of control starting the midfield and then put it on the offensive side.
You know what I'm thinking right now? And again, I said this the other night, when I'm in my competitive head, being that I used to play in tournaments and I used to play high in ranks, I'm thinking right now, honestly, if I'm going up against Shadow, I'm thinking we got to start demoing these guys. We need to get mean. We need the bump plays to come out, and we have got to get them out of the net. We have got to mess up their rotation. Let's get some demos and bumps on Morg, but I don't know if they're going to get it there, as Morg is going to walk this one in like he's walking a dog. It's 2-0 now.
And that's a really good idea. It definitely seems like Morg has felt kind of left alone, doing what he wants. It's like he's in free play all the time. And I think that's really going to hurt the Dodgers because they're just letting their opponents eat their food with every shot they're given, And this point, the Dodgers aren't even having any offense. Right now, 5-0 in shots. And it's going to come down to what are they going to do to make a counterattack, because they've started down 0-2 in every game so far.
I do have to say, though, it's looking a lot better than last game, because last game, they were already down by so much at this point in time, but now at least they're holding them within 2, and it's still definitely possible, to come back and get the win here. They're not down by much, but with plays like that, you have to be careful when they cross the net, and this one's going to go all the way back down into the side as Morg is going to beat a defender there to get the ball, and some finesse right now, and the mind games will prevail. Morg gets another goal.
This man just might be the Fnac god here. I mean, he's just messing with that. Like, he's like what's the word I'm looking for? He's like a psychiatrist. He's playing with their heads and minds at this point. And the Dodgers have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what to expect from Morg, because Morg has done everything. He's gone air dribbles, fakes, everything you can think of. There's just no way of beating this man because he has a full arsenal.
And it's completely dangerous when we know now that Urinate can actually do some things in the backup. So you really have to step it up now and try and figure out some type of game plan to get past this defense and put a stop to their offense, as Urinate's going to win a booming 50-50 as it goes right back into the Dodgers side. A nice touch there from Inanimate J, buying just a little bit of time, and gets the save out into the corner there. Morg now taking control. Off the back wall it goes, and Inanimate J is going to get the clear and send it the other way.
But again, it's just giving away possessions. They might get another one here. The Dodgers are just giving away possession time and time again. They're not making counterattacks. They're not making aggressive pushes that'll help their cause to come back in this.
Honestly, the really only thing that you can do now is you have to start getting that pressure going. Like, look at this. I mean, I wanted to save this until later, but I just can't ignore it anymore. 7 shots from Shadow, not a single shot from the Dodgers. And I hope they can recover one soon as the clock ticks even further away. And Morg with the beautiful redirect off the pass from Urinate. Oh my goodness, they are looking unstoppable.
And this is just, both players starting the situation from the Dodgers end, besides Inanimate J, who just got the corner boost, and there's just nothing they can do. They're not positioned. They're just getting outpaced, and they're getting outplayed by this Shadow duo.
I gotta say, looking at that last play and just rewatching it, I mean, maybe goal of the week possible. I mean, definitely clip it if you can. Like, that might be the goal of the week. Minamaki now starting to play a little bit of the bruising role, but it could be too little too late. But still, I love a good fireworks show. And now we're going back into the corner again. It's going to be Urinate who's going to hit this one down into the corner. And now we got more fireworks, and that's going to be an open net there for Morg. And now the Shadow is showing the Dodgers how the demo plays go, and they're going to put another one on the board, pushing it even further away from the Dodgers.
It's sad because, they did get that demo play, but it also started with a bump play onto his teammate. Minamaki ended up bumping Inanimate J into that demo, and it just leaves an open net for the Shadow to punish. And it's just, again, the Shadow not on the same page as they might be able to get one back here.
And again, it's one of those missed opportunities because that was a beautiful pass play. Watched it unfold from the start to finish. Should have been there and should have been a goal on the board for the Dodgers, but that one goes off to the side and they're going to miss a goal and an opportunity. But you know who won't? Morg won't. That's going to be another 6-0 like we saw in the previous game.
I mean, he's doing everything. Every time McHale play you can think of, here he goes for the fake flick and goes for a ground pinch just to get the defensive line off guard. Both defenders playing the back post, not expecting that any fast shot coming, and he just outplays them both again.
Yeah, but you know what else I'm liking right now is that Urinate is responsible for 5 goals as well as Morg. 4 assists from Urinate with a 1 goal on top of that, and then Morg with 5 goals. They have both been equal in their offensive prowess here in this game, and it's just really nice to see, because what we saw in the first game, we were like, well, we want to see more of Urinate. You know, we saw Morg pop off. Let's see something from Urinate. And now Urinate is just absolutely going bonkers on the assists, and definitely contributing to this 6-0 just momentous victory.
I mean, if you're the Dodgers, you just must be very defeated. They're going to get 7-1. Actually might have been an own goal from Jay, and it just shows the little bit of distrust in the team players on the Dodgers. You know, these players have played together for such a long time, you just don't expect it from them, but they just do it again as Inanimate Jay cuts off the save and own goals it to give the Shadow a 7-goal lead.
Yeah, and it's just more and more, you know, kind of trodden now is still does not put a single shot on the net. It's almost like batting practice for Shadow right now. It's just all offense for them, because there's not really much the Dodgers can do to stop them. This Shadow's going to walk away with another victory, this time a bigger goal differential than the last.
You know, you just have to look at one stat line, and that just explains this game full forward. 12 shots to nothing in favor of the Shadow. I mean, if you can't get any type of presence here, you know, on the offensive side of the field, you just kind of give up and you just are allowing your opponent to play with you. As we saw Morg getting 5 or 6 goals there, just playing with the opponents, and they're just making work of this Dodgers lineup.
Yeah, and with that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that should put the Shadow 3-0 in the series in favor over the Dodgers. But we play all the games around here, so they can still take home a few wins and not go away empty-handed. But I think we're going to reset the server and bring some teams back to try and maybe fix a little bit of the issues that the Dodgers were having. I think we are going to try and set something up to see if we can get back in action very shortly.
And I think, you know, I feel like the Dodgers saying, oh, it's a server why we're losing this situation. And, you know, I definitely think it's a bit more than that. It just feels like the Shadow have been on another level. And I think the biggest part is working as a team. You know, the first and the third game, we saw Morg doing all the offense and Urinate doing all the defensive passing. And then we said, well, we want to see a little bit more from Urinate. And game 2, he's doing all the scoring, and Morg is doing all the playmaking and saving. I mean, their ability to switch roles on and off like a dime is just unbelievable. And it just shows why they're one of the best duos in this league.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, internet connection can definitely be a major issue when you're playing Rocket League. Everybody knows this. You go play ranked, you can even be in casual, and you can miss a shot or something and be like, oh man, my ping is bad. And it definitely can be an issue. But it's usually never the only issue. Kind of like you were saying, and trust me, I get it. You know, feels bad, man. The ping, you know, but still, there's a little bit more to it, and it's something that you have to work on, because, like you were saying, that the Shadow being able to switch up roles and the way they're able to find each other on the field, you can't take anything away from them. They have the talent, and they've been practicing clearly with each other continuously, and now the consistency is showing off in their gameplay.
And I think when we come to this game 4, I think the question is, because I asked them this after game 2, are they going to keep this pressure going? Because when you have such a great success, it all comes down to, is it going to continue later on this series? Are we going to see it time and time again? And I think now we're going to see whether the Dodgers can get something going. And I think this is also going to come down to, you know, if they have this momentum, because now the Dodgers are 0-6 in series count, one of the worst starts we've seen this season, especially with how much they gave up to have a great season in ML, with all the draft picks, the trade-ups they did early on. And it's all starting to backfire now later in the season.
Yeah, and right now, if you're Shadow, not only do you have to be happy about the way you've performed so far, but you got to know there's got to be at least 1 or 2 clips out there of the highlight reel plays that they've made today, coming from both Urinate and Morg, just being able to find each other in the air. That last insane redirect from the beautiful pass from Urinate off the ceiling, and then Morg with the follow-up touch upside down with the Fennec. I call it the Fennec sometimes. That's just the way I call it. But just being able to see that highlight reel style of play, I really do hope that they are at least in somewhat contention for goal of the week, because seeing those goals scored in real time live, it makes it that much more special and it makes it that much more exciting.
And I think, it comes down to the arsenal that Morg is presenting. We're seeing a lot of panic on the defensive line. And when you have an ability to do multiple types of shooting, whether it's air dribbles, whether it's ground plays, all this, one or the other, it really messes with the defenders on how they're going to defend it. And Morg has shown every single one. Like, he's done everything. We've seen the ground pitches, we've seen the air dribbles, the redirects. He's been on another level this series, let's just say. And I think now it's to the Dodgers. Just don't let him get these opportunities. Don't let him have the chance to set anything up. Let Urinate control more of the offense. I think the game where Urinate control more of the offense, that was the closest they got to having a chance of winning.
And I couldn't agree more, and I'm just going to add on to that, because like I was saying earlier, when we're seeing what they're doing on the opposite end, being that they haven't even got any shots off the last game, start making them backpedal a little bit. Let's see some demos. Let's see some bumps. We've clearly seen the shadow pull them off. I want to see the Dodgers come out and start getting rid of Morg, getting rid of Urinate, maybe send Morg to the Morg, get him out of there. Like, you have to start disrupting their rotation, start having them slip up on their own wheels, take them off their wheels, put them on cinder blocks, do whatever you have to do to start showing something, a sign of life. We need a pulse, because right now they're kind of flatlining, but I still do believe in the Dodgers, because you can still make a turnaround. There's 2 games left. There's still hope, and I just really, really would like to see it. And I hope that when we get the game back going and we get all the server issues, together and everything is back all right with the world, that we'll be able to see a much better show out coming from the Dodgers.
And I think, getting on throughout the rest of this series, it's not just, a statement for the Shadow and like how they're really top this season. It's a bigger statement for the Dodgers, because when you come, a lot of teams, they think when you come to the series and you go for all these high trades for draft picks, the Dodgers end up trading a lot of their PL draft picks to other teams in order for a lot of early draft picks, which they use on players such as Minimaki and Animate J. It's now starting to backfire against them. It's starting to make players not want to do it anymore. And in the end, I think what we're going to want to see is will this prevent it later in the future, in future seasons, or will this, just say, oh, this was a one-time thing and we don't have to worry about it?
Well, I think that's going to end probably what some would call some of the best improv in the world, as we are finally ready and we have this game underway. 5 minutes on the clock. We will stall you no further. Let's get it popping. It's going to be an Animate J who's going to get this touch down into the corner. It goes into the shadow realm, but it's going to be Urinate who's going to pick this one up back into the middle. Finds Morg there on the side. Urinate with another follow-up touches. This one pitches off the wall and goes high. Morg with another follow-up there, and it's going to be cleared away and sent back to the shadow realm.
And they finally get the counter that we've been waiting for. They finally have been struggling so much on the counterattack end. They've always just been giving the ball away, but finally they catch Urinate out of position. Probably one of the first times we've seen it this whole series, and they got an early punch for the first lead they've had this entire series.
Hang on, y'all. Somebody check the Dodgers' wrist. I do believe we have a sign of life. They are on the board, and not only that, but now they have the lead for what I believe could be the first time in the series, but Caster's curse be me, as now it's going to be yet another goal, and now they extend the lead even further.
Maybe it was her. Maybe they were right and we were wrong. That it was the servers issue, because they have been out bringing the aggression. Most of the time, they've been playing a little bit more further back on the field on offense, but now they are just bringing all the heat to the Shadow, especially on net, and I don't think they're taking it very well.
I gotta say, I'm not disappointed at all. I'm actually really happy to be wrong. Like, I'm glad that we're able to fix whatever was wrong with the Dodgers and see them pop off now, because I've always had faith in them. I just wasn't seeing it being played out on the field, and that could have been because of the server. But no mistaking Morg's mechanics. This one is gonna go in, and they're gonna cut the lead in half.
I gotta just ask, how many clips has the chat gone of this guy right here? I mean, look at this delayed air dribble. Carries it below the first defender and pinches it below him so the second one can't even reach it. I mean, he is just outplaying him. He's mixing mechanics together, coming with new ones on the fly. And right now, if you're the Dodgers, you just gotta pray he doesn't do something fancy on you.
Yeah, it looked like Morg to me was just saying good ping, bad ping, ling ling, shadow in 3. Doesn't even matter. What a touch there and a demo from Euronate as this one's going to go up high for Morg off the sidewall and still in control here as another air dribble comes looking for the Fennec flip reset, but it's not going to happen as Euronate takes control now with a nice 50-50 read, and this one's going to slow roll its way out into the corner. Another follow-up from Morg back into that devious corner indeed, but it's going to be a nice touch from an Animate J and back into Minamaki. Going out into the side now, taking some control here. I'm liking what I'm seeing, but it's not going to be enough to get past Euronate as this pinch is going to go right back into the midfield.
And finally, we're starting to see this aggression from the midfield from the Dodgers. Before, we just saw Shadow's players such as Moore carry it out the midfield with no problems, especially on defense. And now we're seeing demo plays and constant aggression at the midfield. It's just showing why the Dodgers have held most of the presence. And an air dribble play, Minamaki gets literally back up to 2.
I'm telling you, it's got to be the power of the Fennec, dude. The Fennec finesse is something that is very real. Minamaki with the beautiful air dribble all the way down and putting that one into the back of the net. Now 3-1 in favor of the Dodgers. I honestly didn't think I was going to see it, but I'm so glad that I am.
It's the Fennec power we've been waiting to see. The reason it's been happening is because, only Morg has been using it, but now both Dodgers players decide to use it, and now they are up by 3 now.
This is just an insane amount of turnaround now. Just looking like a completely different Dodgers team, and a nice little crossbar down there for Minamaki, and this is going to be 4-1 now in favor of the Dodgers. Not even barely 10 minutes ago was it the Shadow that was in this position, being in the 4-1 seat.
I think it's really going to come down to us all right there. Before I get to my point, Morg's just saying, hey, I'm here to play. We don't need to hear y'all talk. You got to see us make a comeback. That's a great read off the missed touch from the defender. And now lead back down to 2. But as I was saying, we're starting to see finally this aggression we've been wanting to see. We saw it in the first 2 games, but completely signed the 3rd game. And maybe that's why they wanted the server reset. They didn't feel like they were getting that offensive presence, and they felt like maybe it was the server that was causing it. And maybe it was, because right now they have just been controlling this game.
Yep, I'm liking the turnaround that I'm seeing, and now Morg is going to take this one into Dodgers territory as Minamaki is going to try and take control here on the side wall. Has enough boost to get the job done, and some mind games coming out as this Fennec is going to get the bump too, and that's going to go in for Minamaki.
And I feel like they were listening. This aggressive play from him has been great, especially with the bump. We've seen, I think this is the 3rd bump goal from Minamaki this game. And I feel like both teams right now are just putting on highlight performances.
They definitely are, and I gotta say, I do love the little self-pass bump play. Didn't even need to follow up with the ball, just get Morg out of there. And that's exactly what they did on that one. Minamaki just doing exactly what he needed to do, as this one's going to go out into the side now with Minamaki again, putting this one back into the middle as Morg is going to get the touch there and find Minamaki again there in the corner as Urinate's going to put this one out towards the middle with a chance now for Minamaki to pass it to an Animate J out there on the side, and that's going to be no good. It's going out to the other side yet again.
And I think, it's finally the one thing that I'm really been happy to see is that the Dodgers are going to what they're good at. They're not trying to play at what the defenders want or how the Shadow are playing. They're playing, hey, I know you're good at this, but I'm better at this. They're more of an aggressive, playing at the bumps, playing less fancy gameplay, and playing more consistent. And as a result, they've been dominating on both sides of the field, and it just feels like the Shadow are struggling now.
Yeah, but as the clock ticks even further away, it's looking better and better for the Dodgers. Still plenty of time for the Shadow to make a comeback as Minamaki is going to take this one out into the corner. And a nice pass towards the midfield, but that's just going to be a touchdown for Morg as Morg taking control now. Tried to get the Fennec flick, but it's going to be Morg who picks up the demo, and no advantage and no opportunity taken by Euronate.
Great opportunity again from the Shadow, and they almost get the work there, but again, we're not seeing the opportunities that we saw prior in the series. The Dodgers have really done a great job of taking the space away from the Shadow, especially at the midfield, and now they're controlling all the space.
Now good read here and a beautiful touch from Minamaki off the pass from an Animate J. Let's break this one down. A nice long pass downfield, and Minamaki gets right up in time before the defense could even respond. Beautiful play there, just cementing the win, really, as they are able to turn this around, and that is only going to build their momentum further going into game number 5.
I don't think I've seen a bigger turnaround as, Shadow are going to try and get known, but they're not able to get it. But I definitely think that the Dodgers really said, hey, we've been in these losing situations all season, but they've not put us down at all. And we see it again here. They make a great comeback and are most likely going to close out with a huge Game 4 win.
Yep, just 16 seconds left on the clock now, and still, they're showing some signs of life here. Is Moore gonna get a score, cut the lead in half, but it looks like it's too little too late. And that's just going to be a Dodgers win. I'd hate to call it, but I just don't see the comeback happening.
I mean, I'd love to see it, but I kind of would rather see the Dodgers get a win in their books for this series. But, we're going to get down to the final 10 seconds. And I just think that the Dodgers, they have been on top of this Shadow defense, mainly because they're doing what's best for them. They're doing the plays that work, the bump plays, the aggression, keeping the ball in the defensive half for the Shadow. And I think the Dodgers, if they continue this, they definitely have the best opportunity to take this to a 2-3 loss.
Now, I think what we're seeing from the Dodgers is a play style that we have not seen yet. Now, this is might have been a play style they've been trying to implement, but not yet perfected. Now we're seeing how it looks full force. You can see they were able to recover 7 saves, and off of those 7 saves made 6 goals. This is one of my favorite types of play styles where your defense becomes your offense, and the Dodgers have showcased that out here in game number 4. So it's going to be really exciting how they carry that over into game number 5. But again, got to give a shout out to Minamaki with those 5 goals on target, all with a little bit of flair and some finesse.
And I kind of feel like I'm reading the chat, Dodgers have kind of been acting like, hey, we already got our win. That's a win for us because they've said they've lost every series up to this point 4-1. And they're like, hey, we just won this game because it's destiny. We have to always lose 4-1. And maybe that's what they're going for at that game number 4. But I definitely feel confident that in game number 5 they can repeat this and get this 2-3 series loss.
We'll see. It's going to be, really up to the Shadow now whether or not they're going to let them keep the 4-1 or not. But I mean, I really hope the Dodgers don't get the 4-1. I want to see them get it. I want to see the Dodgers get another win because the showcase they put on last game just gave me a lot of hope to see the Dodgers pop off. And I don't want it to end yet. I want it to keep going. And speaking of, let's go ahead and get this game going. It's Minamaki who's going to take control here in the midfield with a beautiful read off of Euro Nate. And another 50 there as Morg finds this one and sends it over into the side. Inanimate J with a beautiful pinch and an absolute boomer is going to find its way over there to Minamaki in the corner.
I think right now it's working again. Dodgers strong with the pressure, especially the midfield. I think it's going to come down to the mechanical presence of the Shadow to try and really get some offensive going.
Yep, a missed touch off the backboard there is going to give Euro Nate way more than enough time to answer this one and get a nice little touch in net. And I saw Inanimate J. I knew what he was going for, but maybe, I don't know, maybe Inanimate J had faith in Minamaki. I'm not sure. But either way, that's going to be a 1-goal lead for the Shadow.
That's a great start for the Shadow this game. They've won every game they've started with the lead-in, so definitely what they need so far. As Moore gets another one early on. And I think, when they get this lead, a lot of people say, when you have great mechanics, you're only using them when you have that lead. So I think maybe this is going to help players such as Morg get going on the offensive side of the field, and this might, get out of hand as this is only 40 seconds in.
Yeah, now the game's kind of unfolding a little bit. This is looking vaguely familiar. The early scoring on just, as you said, 40 seconds gone, 2 goals in favor of the Shadow. That looks like something I recognize from the previous games. So I guess they're going to get it done here. We might see that 4-1 that they had preordained in the chat. But let's see how this unfolds as Morg is going to go out to the corner, met by Inanimate J. Back into the middle it goes, and Euro Nate is going to put a stop to the offense as it's going to be Morg now taking it the other way with just 50 boost in the tank, but picks up a hundo on his way as Minamaki just kind of flails there in the middle and gives an open net opportunity for Euro Nate, but it's going to be no good.
And just feels like now the Dodgers going back to their previous game, waiting and giving the Chow all the time in the world to do what they want. And as a result, now the Shadow just kind of gave them the time to do what they want, stall the clock, get opportunities, and again, just giveaways from the Dodgers, see if they can maybe turn around and get a scoring opportunity.
Yep, Inanimate J now trying to get that one off of Morg, but you know Morg's got the mind game dialed up, read his mind like a pop-out book, as this one's going to go out into the side, met by Urinate there, but it looks like it's on target, and Morg was there to get the save. That might have gone in. Nice touchdown now. Minamaki gonna try again and finds it this time. That one's just gonna float right on in, and now we are back with a ball game. They are within one.
That's a great pop of those delayed touches that kind of allow it to settle and fall. Those are some of the hardest, right? You never think they're on target, but it's kind of weird because the Dodgers have led shooting in most of these games. I think 3 out of the 5 they've led shots, but they just don't make the most of them. And I feel like when they're taking all the shots, that's when they're not as good, because they're just really giving the ball away and not making efficient shots, with the Shadow are really making the most of every opportunity to get.
Yep, and a nice shot placement there. We're tied back at 2. We have ourselves a ball game. What a beautiful play coming out from the Dodgers.
And I love it. This 1-2 punch every time. This we see it twice in a row. And Inanimate J gets a beautiful 50, kills the ball in front of the last defender, and Minamaki just comes and punished. It's like a little 1-2 punch left and right. They're coming right back to get a huge equalizer.
Yep, and now with everything square, it is once again anybody's ball game. We are reaching halftime as Moore going up for more of those finesse plays, but it's going to avail to just about nothing, as Urinate's going to take control and is met in the face by the opposition as Moore goes to the corner, picks up some hundo boost, and it's going to be Minamaki who's going to meet Moore there as Urinate takes it out into the side. And Animate J with the bounce shot, but Moore got up fast enough.
And now, it's starting the Dodgers, starting to get a little bit of pressure back that we didn't see at the beginning of this game, and now it's starting to look a little bit like Game 4. Morg especially getting stuck in his own net in his half, where they're not getting anything going, and we're going to see if they're able to get something turned around, maybe a big counterattack that can help them out.
Yes, and again, just under 2 minutes to go. A lot can happen in that short amount of time, as it's going to be Urinate going off the backboard with the follow-up touch. Whoa! Minamaki got the save, and it doesn't matter because Morg still is there to put that one away.
That's a great save from Minamaki. That delayed touch. It's unfortunate that Morg gets a great finish of waiting and beautiful punish, but you gotta give the Minamaki. They're trying to stay in this game. They were joking, with the 4-1 jokes, but they are definitely staying in this game and showing why they deserve to win it.
I'm not gonna lie, that save from the defense just stopped me in my tracks, and they're not gonna let off the gas. Urinate now with another goal, 4-2 now for the Shadow, as they are just riding this wave of momentum, and the pass plays are just beautiful. 1 assist from Morgan, 1 from Urinate. Once again, the consistency showing from the Shadow defense and the Shadow offense. Beautiful pass plays.
I just love it. It's like when they get a 1-goal lead, they just take off. They're like a rocket ship. Once they get that little bit of a lead, it's just taking off, and it just comes wave after wave, like you said. And now it's going to come back down to the Dodgers again. Will they be able to make a comeback and tie it up again?
And you got to see, Morg has the 4 saves. Like, they're playing the defense, but when they're done, they're just turning it the other way and turning it into fast break plays. I love seeing defense become offense, and that's something that the Dodgers were doing it last game for sure, but now it looks like that the Shadow is picking up on that as the Dodgers get another goal, and they're refusing to go down.
I think if you're the Dodgers at this point, your goal is to work as a team. Because I think, the Shadow have been working more independently, trying to get a little fan space. They're like, oh, we already won this series. We don't have to be as, team heavy as we did before. And I think if the Dodgers start working more as a unit, get the ball down the field as a collective group, it's going to help tremendously and really bring it back into this with a minute to go.
Yeah, we were already down to the 2-minute mark, and they have just not stopped scoring another one. Just so many goals in such a short allotted amount of time. The offense of both of these teams are not even letting me get my thoughts out. What a beautiful touch from Morg. And that's going to be an insurance goal now in favor of Shadow.
Yeah, the fortunate mystery from Minamaki. Thought it was going to, clip him on the wall, and it ended up not reaching. Morg just kind of watches it fall by like a little, just like the sun. It's just sent into the net, and, definitely not what you're looking for the Dodgers. Back down by 2. and they have not been able to come back from 2 ever since they were down 0-2 at the beginning of this game. And now it's going to come down to see if they can really get something going on the counterattacks.
Yeah, you see Morg once again going for the flipper reset, but not going to get it as this one goes the other way. Under 30 seconds now, still doable, but with the momentum that Shadow has, it's going to be even more difficult. Morg with a beautiful follow-up touch off the bounce play. That might just about do it.
That's a great read. Air rolls this car perfectly so he can get the angle onto Nag, because that's not an easy angle. And now, this is just consolation prize. Get that goal differential up, as that is a huge tiebreaker in MLE for playoffs. So it's definitely going to be a big thing for them, especially if they don't end up, winning their division, even though they'll be in a really good running after this series.
Yeah, seeing where we started and where we ended up now, I can honestly say that I'm not too surprised. But with that being said, I do love the show out, and just the undying will to never give up. The Dodgers have definitely made the Shadow work a little harder for it towards the end there, but it's going to be a win for Shadow nonetheless. They win game number 5, and Morg will be your MVP.
I mean, he was an offensive catalyst for this team. I think his ability to have such a big arsenal of scoring opportunities and plays just really dominated this series. Because at the end, we even saw the Dodgers have great defense in that last game, but in the end, it just doesn't work because Morg just says, hey, you think you can stop this play? Well, I'm just going to pull another one out of my book, and I'm going to use that on you to score. And, he was really the offensive catalyst. As great of a player your innate was to support and be that defense, Morg was really the star on the offensive side of the field.
Yeah, just an absolute show up from both teams. I mean, like I said, I had all the hope in the world for the Dodgers, and they were able to pull out at least one win, so they're not going to go home empty-handed, which is still a very good thing. But I got to say, the shots the Dodgers took in that game, 11 shots, so they were definitely showing out on offense, but it was the Iron Curtain that was put down by Shadow as Morg picks up 4 saves as well as the 4 goals. Just absolutely a monster on both sides of the ball. But that is just going to about do it here for that series. Shadow takes home the overall win, 4-1 in favor, and lives up to the Dodgers' apparent reputation that I'm just now learning about. But we're going to have more coming your way soon with the Minor League Esports 2v2 continues shortly after this, presented by APM Music.